Hey guys, it's Kim here with Fairily Fiber Fun. Thanks so much for joining me on this show and tell episode. It has been a very long time since I've done this. The last one was more of a tour de fleece, plans, and then the finish, the update on what I did. So I have a lot going on in my life, and I thought I would share some of it with you guys. There's more that I can't talk about yet, but I will keep y'all informed as life progresses, and I will try, I hope, to be able to get one of these out every month. We'll see. Before we get started, I'd like to say a huge thank you and welcome to all the new subscribers. You guys are wonderful and awesome, and I appreciate you very, very much. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment. The comments, they make my day. I really enjoy them, and all the likes and comments actually help my channel to grow. And as soon as we reach 100 subs, as soon as I reach 1,000 subs, I can start doing live videos on YouTube, and I would really like to start getting into that. So yeah, I want to start doing live videos, and I can't until I reach 1,000 subs, so you guys can help me get there by subscribing and liking and commenting and sharing. And when we do hit the 1,000, I'm going to do my first live will be a giveaway. So I better write that down so I don't forget. Like I said, I've got a lot going on, and we're gonna start out with the biggest ongoing thing. So I recently brought home 80 pounds of wool. It barely fit in my car. I had one extra fleece that didn't count as part of that I brought home to play with. But everything else was all in a big bag that was going to the mill to be processed. It's called a wool pool, where a lot of local farmers will pool all their wool together, and it all goes to one place where it gets compressed into bales, and then it's sent off to a commercial place to be processed. And they get paid a certain amount per pound. It's not very much at all. But the wool pool didn't run this year because of the health issues going on in our country, in the world today. And so the wool's just sitting there in this huge bag. And my friend Jan, she's like, I just want to get rid of it. And I was like, I'll take it. I know you got good fleece. I'll take it. So her wool pool grade wool, it's not her best fleeces for hand spinners, but it's really good stuff. So I wanted to get my hands on it, and because it was so affordable, whatever I list in my new shop will be pretty decently priced, considering that it's hand processed. But before I put anything in my shop, I'm playing with it, and playing with spinning it raw, but prepping it before I spin it. So everything dirty, spinning all of it dirty. I have here some locks I pulled out. They got weak tips. Some of them are short, some of them are long, some of them are crimpy, some of them are curly, some of them are coarse, some of them are soft. I did some sorting, and I pulled out some locks to flick card. And flick carding removes the tips. For a while there, I was trimming the tips off with scissors, and that's not necessary, but it was making life a little easier. You lose a little bit of length, but it's not that big a deal. So flick carding with this tiny little flicker brush that I got from Brother Drum Carter. When I ordered my baby brother Carter, I ordered the accessory kit, and it came with this little brush, and it's great for flicking. I'm wearing a band-aid on this finger because of how I hold the locks when I flick. I tend to get my finger, and so I'm wearing a band-aid to protect it because I did so much flicking the last couple of days, and my finger is really, really feeling bruised. So once the locks are all flicked, and they look like this. Now remember, this is dirty wool. Then I'm putting them through the drum carder, although I am in the process of spinning up some from the lock. I've got the singles done, and I need to apply it and wash it. So I don't enjoy spinning from the lock, and that single broke several times and I'm not happy with it. So I was hoping to put some hand spin in my shop, but that skein's not going in the shop. It's too many breaks, too many knots. I don't feel comfortable selling that. So I've made up a bunch of, I'll apply that and then I'll use it as a sample or something. But the locks that I flicked the last couple of days, I've carded into bats using the Baby Brother, and just 2 passes on the drum carder works fabulously. I did a video it was a requested video on painting onto the drum carder, how to do that, and this is what I used for the first approach to that concept. So I'm going to spin these up. I need to card a bunch more, spin them up, and then once they're all spun, I will scour. And this is my first skein I did like that. Look at the difference. When I put this in the water and I started moving it around, the dirt just made a big cloud in the water. It was so cool. So very, very easy to get all the dirt out. Very quick process because you don't have to do the big batch of scouring. You just scour the finished skeins and you can actually move them around in the water without worrying about the felting as much. So I was very gentle with the moving, but I did move it around quite a bit. And this is my very temporary tag. It says Whirlpool 1. Before washing, it was 234 yards. I have not reskeined this, so I don't know how much it is. I don't even know how much it weighs right now. I did not weigh it before I scoured. I'm going to do that with the next skein. The one I'm currently working on, I'll apply it, weigh it, I'll skein it up and then weigh it, and then I'll scour it and then I'll weigh it again, and we'll see the difference. There's a lot of dirt comes out of those. So I'm really liking how it's turning out, and this, I'm working with the softest parts of the Whirlpool fleeces right now, and it is, I want to make a sweater out of this. I just want to live in it. I want a cowl, a sweater, a scarf, a shawl, a hat, gloves, socks. Can I just drape my entire body in this wool? I love it. And it smells good too. It's clean. Okay, enough. Moving on. Moving on. Okay. Another boring spin. Boring because there's no color in it. And a funny story. So, I thought this was Gulf Coast wool because I have so much of it, you know. And I lost the tag, or rather, it wasn't labeled which farm it was from. Farms are like 5 minutes apart, so it's pretty easy to get the wools confused. So I saw this wool and I said, this would be great for felting. I want to make some felted seat covers for my car. Then in the middle of the night, I realized one night, after a few days of working with this wool, that this is the Tunis fleece I brought home last year, and I wanted to spin it. So I did not prep this fiber properly for spinning, so I'm getting a very lumpy, bumpy yarn. Now this wool was just full of vegetable matter. It's a tender fleece, so it's breaking in the middle of the locks. There's a lot of neps and noils. There's a lot of short bits. There's a lot of weak tips. And I have picked it to within an inch of its life and then carded it. And the picking got rid of 99% of that vegetable matter. It's amazing. It's taking a lot of time. My son Matthew is helping me. He's got a school project, an agriculture project, and he's required to do a certain number of hours of ag something. And working with wool qualifies. So he's been picking the wool every day with me so I can card up more of these bats. I have 4 carded. I'm spinning the first one. And they've been carded twice. They need to be carded more than that. I'm hoping to do a video of the carding coming up soon. I did a video of the picking, and I want to do a video of the carding. So hopefully that'll be coming up pretty soon. I kind of want to finish picking the fleece and then just card it all, and then that'll be done. So I'll post a picture, I'll put a picture in here somewhere of the bobbin that I just started last night, and well, hopefully you'll get to see what I mean about the lumpy bumpies. The Tunis comes from Cote Farm, and I've worked with this before. I actually did a commission job where I dyed up some roving, mill process roving, and spun it and knit a scarf for the farmer of Cote Farm. And so she now has a beautiful scarf she can wear from her sheep. And this is very similar to the roving that I was working with. So that's why I want to spin this. I really enjoyed that, and I want to work with her wool more. So that's that. All right, moving on. I don't want this episode to get too terribly long. I've got 4 skeins of yarn from the Zero Prep, I think it's called Zero Prep series I've been doing. Working with raw wool, no scouring beforehand, no tools, just my hands and the spinning wheel. So this is completely unscoured. It is Texel Ram. I think he's either full Texel or 7/8 Texel. This is the completely unwashed, completely dirty 3-ply yarns. I need to scour these, and I want to do it on video. And then when it was pouring down rain for days, I ended up putting some in the rainwater and rinsing out a lot of that dirt. And this is what I spun from that. I don't know why I put that down. So huge difference in the color between the two. There we go. That's accurate. Lighting is weird in my house. So rain washed, not rain washed. Neither of these have been scoured, no soap at all, and they were spun with no tools. So I need to scour these and do a comparison to see if there's a difference. And you might notice I've got yellow ties on the one that was not rain rinsed, and I've got red, orange, I think they're red ties on the skeins that were rain rinsed. So I'll tell them apart after I wash them. They will get weighed, they will get reskeined, they will get the yardage counted, and I'll have all the specs in the next video on this series. So I'm really excited that these are done. Yay! And Texel is amazing fiber. I really love working with it, but the ram smell is pretty extreme. Like, I brought in wet wool into the house to dry because it was raining. It wasn't going to dry outside. And my house reeked and the kids were gagging, and it was awful. So I'm glad that part's over with. As long as it's not wet, it's okay. It still has a pretty strong smell. Next on the agenda, yarn I spun up for arm covers for someone in my family that has really bad eczema on the arms. This looks like blue jean material. It's so pretty. It is Polworth and Rose fiber I got from Kamaj Fiber Arts, I think. Yes. Soft silk I got from her. Aloe fiber I got from Paradise Fibers a couple years ago. And Cecil I bought from someone. I'll try to put the name of the shop in here. I'm just drawing a blank right now. The Cecil is why I decided to make this yarn as arm covers for severe eczema and dry skin, rash, whatever. Cecil has special properties that can help with eczema and psoriasis and things like that. And when I discovered that, I was like, oh my God, I need to get some of this and make some special yarn. So for one of the 4 guys in my life, going to get arm covers when I'm finished knitting the commission cardigan, which I have literally this much left on the second sleeve, and I'm done. The length of my nose, and I'm done. I need to sit down and do it and get it done. So then I can start knitting on this, because this doesn't have a deadline. That other project does. And it's like 3 weeks from now. I'm just being lazy. So yeah, I need to do this. It's a heavy fingering, I guess. So no idea how I'm going to knit it up, but I'm sure you guys will get at least pictures if nothing else. Then I have a couple of experiments. This was some sock bats I had made when I first got my drum carder. And it was a red and green bat and a pale blue Winter Wonderland, I think is what I called it. So this is the last of the yarn, and it's just 2-ply, regular, straight, high twist 2-ply. And then this one is a Hawser yarn, actually, which is the 4-ply, where you spin all your singles, and then you 2-ply. You make 2 separate 2-plies, but you ply the same direction you spun. And then you take those really high energy 2-plies. They're not really 2-plies. And then you ply them together the opposite direction. It's supposed to make a very springy, elastic yarn for, you know, if you're using like plant fibers or something that has a huge amount of drape and you need ribbing that's going to come in and hold its shape. Hawser yarn is really good for that. But I'm a little confused because my yarn is not super bouncy. It's a little. Doesn't seem to be any different than a cabled yarn. So I think I didn't put enough ply twist in this. I may run this back through the wheel. I may not. I may just make a different one and do it a little bit different and see. Do a comparison. So this experiment, the Hawser experiment, is not finished, but this yarn is. So got 2 very different yarns. The 2-ply is a fine lace, and the Hawser yarn is more of a worsted. So that turned out okay. It's very pretty. And then I'm plying for days and weeks and months because I'm the crazy lady that decided to do a lace weight cabled yarn. It's supposed to be a sock weight fingering, but so far the first 2-ply is so fine. If all of my yarn is this thin, I'm going to end up with a lace weight cabled yarn. So this is a 2-ply. This yarn was featured in my How I Spin Ultra Fine Singles video. Come on. Anyway, it's super, super fine. Like, this is ridiculously fine. It's crazy. So what I'm doing is it's a fractal that I did on the blending board. One board per single. So I did one board with each color on it just once. And then I did twice on the board. And the first one, I just rolled it off as a bat and I spun it end to end. So I did, I think I turned it into a giant rolag and then spun it end to end. And then I made rolags out of each board after that and separated them by which batch they were. It's confusing. Anyway, ended up with each skein, each single has a different number of color repeats to make a fractal. But it's being cabled. So I've done 2-ply with double the ply twist, or a little bit more than double the ply twist, so that when I cable ply it, it'll work out. Also, I started spinning this the opposite direction. I usually start clockwise, and I spun this counterclockwise, over-plied it clockwise, and I'll do the finishing ply counterclockwise so that it ends up the direction I like it to be when I knit. So I'm in the middle of plying the second bobbin. It's literally right here. It's right here. This is it. This is what I've gotten done so far. So there we go. And then I need to finish it because I got a new sock spin I want to start. It's going to be another cabled yarn. It's one of my ancient hand-dyed yarns that I had put in my shop when I had an Etsy shop. Very first shop I've ever had. It's a gradient, and it's superwash Corriedale, a 4-ounce braid. that I split in half, and then I took each half and split those in 4 lengthwise. The idea is to have 2 gradient cabled yarns when I'm done, so I can knit 2 socks, 1 from each skein. One skein is going to be a little bit longer than the other because the bumps weigh slightly different. Like I have 11 to 12 grams in each bump on one bag and about 13-14 grams on each bump from the other bag. So, and of course it's the spinning, how I spin, that'll determine whether they're the same length or not. Whew. And I have a ton of other braids I pulled out of the first shop I ever owned stash, and I will be turning some into Rolex, putting some in bats, and spinning some of them. So some of these things will end up in the shop and some of them I'm just gonna spin. So also I made up a bunch of Rolex. I did a shop update, but I didn't get the pictures done because the yarn wasn't finished. So I'll show you the Rolex in just a minute, but this is the yarn. Fall Leaves inspired Rolex, spun up as a inconsistent single. Wouldn't say thick and thin because it's not purposely thick and thin. That's how it turned out, but light amount of twist. Hold on, I got fiber on my nose. That's the problem with rolling your face around in wool. You get fluffy stuff on your nose. Okay. Hopefully I won't start sneezing. So I spun this up and then I thread plied it. And I put a picture up on Instagram on my stories. And I was like, okay, I have a light green and a dark green thread. Which one should I use? And the dark green won the vote. So the dark green is what I use. And I'm really glad. It's so pretty. I know that's out of focus, but isn't that just the colors? Aren't they really pretty? So I'm really happy with how this turned out. It is, I think, Cheviot comb top that I hand dyed, and silk noil, undyed silk noil, and Firestar. And that's it. Super simple. I have 3 sets of these Rolex. They'll be going up in the next shop update. Just got to get the beautiful pictures of it, not the Instagram photos, but the actual shop photos. Aren't those just so pretty? Each package weighs about an ounce, so they'll be going up in the shop soon. I evaluated 1 fleece. That video will be going out soon, and I've got 2 more to evaluate and list in the shop. So Hope Springs Farm and I are partnered together, and she has some really nice fleeces. They're Hogget fleeces, which just means the sheep is a little bit more than a year old, and it's the first shearing. Never been bred, never been shorn before, and so the fiber is its absolute best. Longest, most lustrous, softest, most amazing fiber. If you've never spun a Hogget fleece, you totally should. You'll be spoiled rotten. We evaluated 4 fleeces when I was over there a few weeks ago, and the one I drooled over and just went absolutely crazy over is the one that she said she would try to sell herself. And I was like, here, you've got a way to sell this one. Try this one. This is the price I recommend for it. And it was really hard not to take it home. But I got 3 other ones that were really, really good that I've already listed in the shop. So you can go ahead and look at that. I will have it linked in the show notes, but I will also stick it right here somewhere in this little spot. And I believe they are all full Gulf Coast. She has some Blue-Faced Leicester crosses, some Texel crosses, and another breed that I cannot for the life of me remember. When I come across one of her fleeces that has crossed with that breed, and I have it written down on a card, then I can tell you guys what it is. Until then, until I write it down, I'm not going to remember it. I think that's it as far as projects goes, and this is turning into a longer video than I wanted. But there's just so much to share right now, and I haven't even shared any knitting because, you know, the project I'm working on is a commission job and it has its own series, so I can't share that with you. I haven't started the arm covers yet. I haven't been working on socks. Like, it's been spinning and fiber processing for days, for weeks. I'm enjoying every minute of it. It's great. I'll be taking a bunch of the wool to the mill soon. I am friends with the owner of a very small mill that's local to me. Her name is Nicole, and her mill is called Spirit Fiber Works. She's an alpaca farmer, and she's a hand spinner. She teaches a lot of spinning classes, and I'm very, very blessed to be friends with her and to be able to work in the mill. So we're going to meet tomorrow evening to discuss schedule and payment and price and all that. And she wants to barter, so the price may be a certain number of hours of work, of labor. It depends on what she needs. If she needs more wool, it'll be wool. If she needs money, it'll be money. And if she needs hours of labor, it'll be labor. And I don't mind working on the farm with the animals, and I don't mind working in the mill. So it's whatever she wants. We will talk about it tomorrow. Really excited about that. I have another meeting tomorrow morning that I can't talk about yet. It's super important, and I will share that with you hopefully in the next update, depending on what comes of that. Huge things coming to Fairily Fiber Fun. So you may have noticed I've completely revamped my shop. I've got a brand new shop. I'm using a different platform. This is my third online shop, and I've got a whole bunch of new stuff in. I've got a new format. My pictures are more professional now than they were before. I'm also partnered with Unicorn. So I now have Unicorn Power Scour listed in the shop. There are 8 bottles available. It is the best scouring agent I've ever used. It smells good. It gets the job done in less time, at lower temperatures, and with less work. So I've tried other scouring agents. I'm just not happy with them. I've tried Kookaburra. I don't like the way it smells, and I don't think it does as good a job. I've tried some other stuff, and I'm not happy with anything else. The Unicorn Power Scour is the best. So this is not a sponsored video. So yeah, if you are looking for Unicorn products, specifically Unicorn Power Scour, get you a bottle while they are here, because it'll be a couple of months before I make another order. So get them before they're gone. And I'm currently sampling the Unicorn Wash and the Unicorn Fiber Rinse. So I will be able to tell you more about those after I have sampled them myself. And yeah, so I don't know what else to say about that, but I'm excited. I never tried anything other than the Power Scour, so I'm really excited to try out the other samples that were sent to me. I'm trying to think. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about, and everything else is like I can't share with you yet because it's not time, and I'm really excited. So thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I appreciate you guys very, very much, and I will see you next time. Bye.